Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Discriminating Gamer. My girlfriend told me I had no sense of direction. So I picked up my stuff and write. Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to go ahead and take a look at Ticket to Ride Paris from Days of Wonder.
We'll get back to the review in just a moment. I want to take a minute to ask you to check out my other channel, that is Cody Carlson, PhD, where we talk about history, books on history, military history. I even post some of my lectures for my classes on there. Please check that out. Please subscribe to that channel. And now, back to the review.
In Ticket to Ride Paris from Days of Wonder, 2 to 4 players attempt to build routes throughout the great city of Paris using various transportation and hoping to score the most victory points. Now, this plays like a pretty standard game of Ticket to Ride in most respects, but it is a much smaller board. You have a smaller number of units that, of course, you're going to be placing out on the board in order to complete those routes. Essentially, again, you put out a number, I believe, 5 cards. On your turn, you can draw 2 cards, or you can, draw 2 cards from the top of the deck, or take 2 cards from the lineup there. Excepting only if you take a multicolored card, in which case that's the only one you can take, or if it's the first one you draw, it's the only one you can draw. And you're building the routes. You also have the destination cards. You have a number of destination cards. You can draw more during the game. These are routes you're trying to complete that will score you big victory points. But if you are the last, or rather, if you don't complete those, then they act as negative victory points at the end of the game. Now, the biggest rules change here is creating the French flag, the tricolore. What you are going to do during the game is every time you play a white, red, or blue flag, you're going to go ahead and place those out in front of you, returning the other cards, of course, to the discard pile. Once you have completed that by making all 3 of those cards, you can go ahead, turn all of those in, and score 4 points. And you can continue to do that throughout the course of the game, trying to get the tricolore and scoring those additional points. So players go around and around. They are drawing the transportation cards. They are drawing the route cards. They are building the routes. They are completing the various sections of the tracks for points, and they are trying to complete the tricolor for the additional points. Now, the game ends as soon as one person has 2, 1, or 0 trains left. Each player then takes another turn, and then that ends the game. At that point, you look at your score on the board. You also check for all your destination routes, and whoever has the most points wins. Ticket to Ride Paris. Well, Ticket to Ride Paris is pretty much just Ticket to Ride, but a much smaller, tighter game. So I played this, just a 2-player game recently. We played it a couple of times. I played it with Aaron, my friend Aaron, and we both really had a lot of fun with it. It's just a quick, fun Ticket to Ride game. And it was great as a 2-player. I imagine it would be fun as well with 3 or 4 players. But it's quick, and what I really like about it is you get the Ticket to Ride experience in about 15 minutes. The game hums. It just moves. Like I say, if you have more players, there may be some AP that may slow down a bit, but it's not going to slow it down by much. This is a great Ticket to Ride experience in a very compressed amount of time. Really enjoyed it. This was a heck of a lot of fun. Recommendation for the discriminating gamer for Ticket to Ride Paris is buy it. Thank you once again for joining us today on The Discriminating Gamer. As always, we ask you to please leave a comment for us on YouTube, on Board Game Geek, on our Facebook page, or on thediscriminatinggamer.com. We'd ask you to please like us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube, and follow us on Twitter. I'd also ask you to check out my other channel, that is Cody Carlson, PhD, where we talk about military history and books on history, fun things like that. I'd ask you to please subscribe to that channel. That would mean a lot to me. Please leave a thumb for this video on Board Game Geek, and if you do really appreciate the content we bring you on this channel, I'd humbly ask you to click on the Super Thanks button and leave a tip. I heard the very best restaurants are in Western Canada. Every place there is all Yukon eat.
Please somebody help me on my feet again. And I don't know where I'm going, and I don't know where I've been. Please somebody help me on the solid ground. It's a long time, and I'll be dying. Once a year I wind up in the band. God knows that I
What I have done for the English language, Cody has done for board game reviews. Something is rotten in the state of Denmark, but nothing is rotten with Cody.